Hey guys, it's Keith here from KegLand talking to you about a really exciting product. It's our new Series X Kegerator. As you would probably know, we've been selling the Series 4 for quite some time now. The Series 4s have been in Australia for ages, about over 5 years. And to be honest with you, this has been the standard go-to. If you want to set up an awesome bar or anything like that, you would get one of these. However, we have just raised the bar. Well, raised the home bar that is, and that's with the Series X. The Series X boasts more energy efficiency but higher cooling power. Now, one of the beauties about the upgrade between this guy and this guy is even though this has much higher capacity, it doesn't take up any additional floor space because it's more efficiently laid out internally. Now, if you've ever had a Series 4, you'll probably notice that sometimes the side walls get a bit hot, and that's because in the side walls we put the condensers. So the condensers are like a copper tube going back and forth, and that's where the heat is essentially dissipated from the fridge. In the Series X, on the other hand, that condenser is larger. So we've got a 25% larger condenser inside the side wall, and that contributes to the energy efficiency of the fridge. The other thing is, you'll notice that the outside of the fridge now has an orange peel effect. Some guys kind of complained with the Series 4 that if you put your fingers on it or smudge it, it really shows up a lot of marks really easily, and the orange peel kind of hides that. As soon as you look into the Series 4, you'll notice that the evaporator on the back of the fridge here, it doesn't go right to the edge. So there's a little bit more space for us to be able to make the evaporator bigger. The other thing you'll notice is that the fan itself, it's just mounted onto the top of the fridge with a very small shroud here. In a lot of the testing that we did when we were measuring efficiency and how we can optimize these fridges was got to do with airflow. The current fan, sometimes you get air blowing through the fan and a small percentage of that air would then return back and go back into the suction side of the fan, therefore not really contributing to the overall air movement in the fridge and essentially being a little bit inefficient in the way that it moves air in the fridge as well. The other thing is, and this is a major difference, was this little step arrangement. If you look at just about every fridge manufactured in the commercial market, or if you look at most other Kegerators, you'll notice that these steps at the back always contain the compressor in one corner, sometimes on the left, sometimes on the right. And that's a major difference between the old Series 4s and the new Series Xs. Lastly, you'll notice that the walls in these were not particularly thick. So inside the side walls of the fridge, you'll notice on the Series X we've beefed them up quite a bit and we've made the walls about 40% thicker. The other thing is that's particularly important because with the condensers being in the walls, there's actually a heat generated by these condensers in the walls, and the thinness of the walls on the Series 4 enabled some of that heat to come from the condenser and then migrate back into the fridge as well. The other thing we've done is improve the foam density. So for every centimeter of foam in the walls of these bad boys, they have actually more insulating capacity as well. Now let's have a look at the Series X. You can see instantly that the evaporator covers the full width from left to right in the back of the fridge. The walls are significantly thicker and you can see that straight away. The other major difference is the fan. We've got a shroud which is made specifically to fit into the top of the fridge here, so it sucks air into the back of the cold plate, and there's a small cavity at the back here which sucks air and then blows it down onto the kegs and really is more efficient at recirculating the air. We've still got the font fan tube here, so you can cool the font by pushing this up the fan, so nothing's really changed in that respect, but really we're getting much, much better airflow, which is one of the reasons why this unit is more electrically efficient. Now, one of the innovative parts of this design is really the centrally mounted compressor. So you can see the compressor hump is just in the middle of the fridge here. This allows us to put a keg left and right on the back of the fridge, as well as putting 2 at the front, giving us a 4 keg capacity with very, very similar floor space to the Series 4. The other thing is it still fits a 50-litre full-size keg. So even though this hump is in the middle, it's still got enough gap between there and the front of the fridge that even full-size kegs can fit at the front. So there's really no compromise whatsoever. Now on the back of the fridge, we've also made some upgrades here. On the old Series 4, or most Kegerators on the market, you only have one little hole here where you can feed in your CO2 gas line for keg dispensing. And that's okay, but a lot of guys these days are either running at multiple pressures and want to have multiple gas lines going into the fridge, Or for instance, they've got maybe two different types of gas. Like I know nitro beers and nitro coffee and stuff like that's getting really popular. And some people want to have a nitro line running in as well as, for instance, a CO2. So what we've done is actually have got two different ports. Now these ports on the back of the fridge, to keep things standard and simple, we're using the PCO 1881 thread. So that's the same thread which fits most bottle caps or Coke caps. So even if you had to lose this bung, for instance, you can easily just get a Coke cap and screw it on the back of the fridge like so. The other reason why we've done it is so you can use these carbonation caps. So these carbonation caps, when we designed them, we specifically designed them so that they could fit a gas line onto the back of the unit. And let me show you how. You get this duo-tight fitting here, you push it onto the back like so, and then the gas line in the fridge, you just push in the other end. So when we screw this onto the back of the fridge like this, what I've now got is an arrangement where I can quick disconnect the gas line. And this is also really handy because previously you would have to have the gas line coming out of here and kind of semi-permanently joined to your regulator, meaning you can't really use your cylinder and regulator for anything else. But now, what I've got is my cylinder and regulator and ball lock disconnect, and I can easily quick disconnect this from the back of the fridge and take this cylinder away and maybe use this for a party or maybe for a picnic or something like that. And then I can just leave the kegerator as is. Now the other reason why we have two caps on here is because some people might actually want to put carbonated water on tap. We've recently released a water carbonation unit which fits into one of our 19 litre or 9.5 litre kegs. And what you can do is screw one of these caps off and then have your mains water pressure going in the back here, allowing you to have constant mains water supply into that carbonation keg, so you have constant soda water on tap with no worries at all. So with the Series X, there's multiple benefits, including that extra keg space for virtually the same amount of floor space it takes up on your floor, 10% energy consumption saving, so you're gonna have a lower power bill, and lastly, you got more cooling power. So, you know, for you guys who are using these kegerators in extremely hot climates in really boiling hot parts of Australia, this is the unit for you. Well, that pretty much concludes it for today. We'll do another video on how to set up the Series X a little bit later. But if you want to hear about any of the other cool stuff we're bringing out, definitely on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen there, just hit the subscribe button. The other thing you can do is join our Facebook community group. We've got an active Facebook community group with members just like yourself, wanting to learn more about the gear and get hot tips on how to use it, as well as all the promo codes. Anyway, I'll see you next time, guys. Bye.